Sure.
For those who came in, there are 4 handouts here. The first 2 are Board of Civil Authority packets. The yellow one is a snapshot of how to tax appeals, and the white one is our agenda.
Wow.
It's open, 7:01. Just click.
Okay.
Okay, everyone, this is Craig Stone. He is our chair of the Board of Civil Authority, and he will be conducting the meeting tonight.
So you want to start with the oath or statement of who the appellants are?
I would do
Process first.
yeah, maybe do you want to do the process first? Introducing the Board of Civil Authority. So this is the Board of Civil Authority. We are comprised of the town clerk, the 5 select board members, and the 5 justice of the peace. There are a couple of us that are not here today, and I will be recusing myself from the voting and deliberative process because I am also a lister and I will be testifying as lister. And I have a document here about conflict of interest that I have filled out and submitting for the official record, that I will be doing that. However, by law, I still have to perform the administrative duties of taking the minutes and writing up your decision, and doing all of that part. I am just not going to be deliberating with you, even though I am going to be present for your deliberations. I will not be helping.
Okay, we have 2 appellants, 5 grievances with the town clerk. One is West River Equine, Alex and Kim Price. They're 448 Deer Park Road. We will start with them, and then when we're done with that, at approximately 7:45, we will do Daniel's Standish, 225 Franklin Hill Road. And first, we need to give oaths to all of the Board of Civil Authority members.
Okay, if you will all raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will well and truly hear and determine all matters at issue between the taxpayer and listers submitted for your decision? So help you God, under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
I'm going
David
to-
Buckley, I do.
Oh, you have your own, David. I'm sorry. This is just for the Board of Civil Authority.
Okay.
If you could find your name, that would be great. We also have an oath for the listers specifically, and if you wouldn't mind doing that, since I am a lister.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do. So we have one little issue. I do not see Kim or Alex Price online nor in the building, which means we don't have anything from them for this particular past hearing, giving David Buckley the right to speak on their behalf. since
I
he is-
spoke to them and I think they're personally going to make an appearance. They may be running late.
Well,
It says 7:15.
they got 10 more minutes.
Do they have 10 more minutes? Okay.
Yeah, I
During-
spoke to them on the phone to confirm it. They were going to appear in person.
Okay. Yes. Oh, thank you.
Craig, if you would like this to be read, I could do it.
I think it's important that we do.
Okay, is that okay for me to do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm reading the condensed guidelines for appeals to the BCA. Number 1, taxpayers may represent themselves or be represented by attorneys or agents. Number 2, grievances are public meetings. Number 3, taxpayers may only grieve the appraisal of their own property and not that of others. Number 4, appeals will be recorded on audio. Number 5, oaths will be signed by the BCA, listers, and appellants and agents. Number 6, BCA members shall be unbiased towards the appraisals established by the listers and unbiased towards the value proposed by the appellants. Number 7, a BCA member will recuse themselves if a conflict of interest is present. Number 8, after all the testimony has been heard and questions asked, the chair asks the appellant and the listers if they have presented all the information they wish to present. If either party has additional information to present at a later time, it must be stated at this time. The chair adjourns the hearing to the date set to hear from the inspection committee. The hearing is not closed. The BCA may hear additional evidence or testimony if it feels it needs to during the hearing of the report of the inspection committee. However, both parties must be present to be able to rebut the new evidence. Number 9, ex parte communications. There will be no communication between any BCA member, lister, or taxpayer with regards to the tax appeal. When the inspection committee visits a property, neither party, taxpayer or lister, is permitted to, quote, point things out, or, quote, discuss any part of the appeal unless directly asked a question by the inspection committee member. This is limited to structure location or grievance issue location. Number 10, the inspection committee will report to the board within 30 days from the hearing. Number 11, if members of the inspection committee decide to visit the listers or the zoning administrator to get additional information relating to the appeal, the appellant or listers will be given notice of that meeting. Number 12, refusal by the appellant to permit inspection of the property, interior and exterior of every building, results in a withdrawal of the appeal. Number 13, tax appeals are heard de novo or anew. Parties may introduce any relevant and material evidence useful to their position at the hearing. Number 14, from the date the inspection committee report to the BCA is made, the BCA has only 15 days to certify its notice of its decisions with reasons in writing. The town clerk notifies the appellant in writing of the action of the BCA by certified mail. Number 15, the BCA may increase, reduce, or sustain an appraisal made by the listers. And number 16, the appellant has a right to appeal this decision to the state appraiser appointed by the Director of Property Valuation and Review or to the Superior Court of Windham County by filing a written notice of appeal within 30 days after the date of mailing of the notice by the town clerk.
Okay. I see that Alex and Kim Price have now arrived, and we will be giving, I need you to take an oath. If you would please raise your right hand. And as long as you give David Buckley permission to speak on your behalf, he will do so the same. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes.
David Buckley, I do.
Thank you. If you could each sign this, please. Need a pen? Thanks.
I'll give these. Bye.
So I'm going to give you a couple of pages. The yellow one is what you heard us reading when we first walked in, which is a little snapshot of how the tax appeal process goes. And then this is our agenda. Thank you. You're welcome. Signatures. Yep.
We have a read this letter by the appellant. We wish to request a grievance to the West Halifax BCA for property at 448 Deer Park. I'd like to correct that to the Halifax BCA.
What did oh, okay.
Our appraiser, David Buckley, has indicated the taxable value for the property at 448 Deer Park should be $576,175 based on the following calculations. $950,000 fair market value as per his appraisal dated June 5th, 25. Adjustment for common level of appraisal percentage calculation since last 2021 town revaluation 60%, 60.65%. See attached town sales spreadsheet calculation versus town grand list for April 2021 through February 2025. Fair market value of $950,000 times CLA of 60.65 is $576,175 tax value. Thank you for your consideration, Alex and Kim Price, West River Equine, and it gives their phone numbers. So, next, we start with a presentation by the Board of Listers.
Yes. Okay. Before we start, I'd like to introduce us. Patty Dowell, who's been a lister for 7 years and is like an alternate, because it's a 3-member board and Tina and I do most of the work and do it with 2, saving the town a salary. Patty comes in at times of grievance or sometimes for site visits. You're 7 years. Tina has been here for 8 years. Tina Blaze and Mary Brewster, I've been doing it for 10 years. Patty will start.
Okay. So today the lister's job is to defend and explain the fair market assessment as a result of the grievance of the 448 Deer Park property owner, parcel ID PRP, period 0448, owned by West River Equine, LLC, Alex and Kim Price. During the initial grievance, which was held on June 4th, 2025, Alex and Kim Price, accompanied by their assessor, David Buckley, presented their grievance of the grand list property assessment, which was valued at $1,009,000. Mr. Buckley presented his assessed value package, which included his personally calculated common level of appraisal, CLA study. He stated that the Vermont State CLA was, quote, out of whack, and that in his opinion, the Halifax town CLA should be 60%, resulting in his acceptable assessed value of $950,000. Mr. Buckley also stated that this is an atypical property due to the horse arena, which is 37,000 square feet. During the lister grievance, we attempted to explain the fair market assessment and that the next townwide reappraisal will be in 2027. This property was assessed in 2021 during the townwide reappraisal. The 2021 reappraisal is a snapshot in time of what the value of the property was on that day. Townwide reappraisals are based on a 3-year average of sales studies. Our NEMRIC and camera programs are then updated to reflect these costs, to reflect the cost schedules until the next townwide reappraisal happens. By using the common level of appraisal set by the state on a year-to-year basis. Mr. Buckley stated that we are representing this taxpayer only, and he is basing this on his personal equalization process with a resulting 60% CLA. Listers offered to go over the current lister cost sheet during the grievance hearing with Alex and Kim Price to explain the lister's process and how the fair assessed value was determined. Mr. Buckley did not allow this to happen during the grievance process. Later, after the hearing was completed, later during the lister deliberation, the listers reviewed the property history. In 2021, at the time of the townwide reappraisal, the owners at that time were not available. So the property could only be viewed from the road and without any history of any of the structures. The listers decided that a site visit would be appropriate in order to do a proper current evaluation of this property. We also thought that the present owners might want to know what the exact evaluation process was. And we wanted to actually listen to their concerns personally, as we were denied that conversation with the owners during the initial grievance hearing. We called Alex and Kim and they agreed to a site visit on June 18th, 2025. As a result of the site visit, we performed a forensic, quote, boots on the ground type of inspection. While we were there, we listened to the property owner's concerns, which were the square footage of the basement, one. Number two, quality and condition of the house. Number three, the electrical system. You will get all of this in writing. You don't have to write it all down, I promise you. Number four, the heating system and that they used space heaters during the winter. Number five, the condition of the chimney. And number six, the condition of the roof. During the site visit, we always review the entire property. Right, the entire property and the property file, as well as its structures and quality and condition of the same. Our observations and response to the property owner's concerns. During the site visit, all structures were measured and inspected. You will get a chance in your packet to see the property cost pages. A correction of the basement dimensions. It was 1,956 square feet. We corrected it to a measured 480 square feet and noted that it was wet. Recorded that the front porch was dismantled and it only had an open slab remaining. We measured the attached garage and corrected the square footage. We reported the rough shape of the roof and we acknowledged that it was the condition that it was in. The reported age and condition of the furnace was also acknowledged. A second well was added as it had not been listed on the current property card. So we had to add, they have two wells. Change the house quality to average from average good. So average is less than average good. And condition to average from good. We also reviewed and changed percent good and applied it to all the outbuilding structures. It was at 80% good, all the structures, and we lowered that down to 60% and 50% depending on the structure. It was our opinion that all the outbuildings were not in 80% good condition. What? Okay. Yeah. Submitted as evidence that we will be submitting to you in a packet is the before property card and the after property card. So you will see the one before the grievance, when they came in for grievance, and then the one after we did our site visit and did our decision. You will see the highlighted differences on each one for the before and after. So we're not going to go through that line by line. Cost tables are established when a townwide reappraisal is done. Last one was in 21, and they cannot be changed until the next townwide reappraisal. Other major influences that affect the assessment of a property to keep in mind are the square footage of structures, quality, condition, effective age, functional depreciation, land values, and outbuildings percent good, things like that. Mr. Buckley, Alex, and Kim Price presented their acceptable assessed value of this property of $950,000. As a result of the site visit, our fair assessed value of this property, the listers reduced the property value from $1,009,000 to $771,300 as a result of the site visit and inspection. And Mary will continue from here.
Okay, I will take the, we're gonna talk about comparables, and you will have all this information in your packet, which is an easy Excel, but I'll go over it. Even though we reduced the fair assessed value after reviewing the comparable properties, both from Mr. Buckley and our own research, it is possible that the value of this property could be higher from our assessment. Listers comparable. The first comparable is the property itself, Deer Park 448. There have been 2 purchases of this property within 2 years. The present owners purchased in 2024 for $1,125,000. And there was a purchase in 2023 for $1,060,000 with a lister's assessment of $1,006,000. Both of those comparables were over our assessed value. Detail of the 448 Deer Park, it is 80, this is a basic, you will, in your package, you have an even more extensive one. It's at 86 acres. The arena is 37,125 square feet. The house is 2,348 square feet, and there are 15 outbuildings. In 2023, this property sold for $1,060,000 with lister's assessment of $1,009,000. In 2024, the same building was sold, property was sold again to the present owners for $1,125,000. This alone established its own value. So our comparables are 1, the property itself, 448 Deer Park property owner purchased. A property owner purchased it in 9/26/23 for $1,060,000. The same description, 86 acres, 37,125 square foot arena, 2,348 square foot house, and 15 outbuildings. In July of 24, July 23rd, the current owners purchased this property for $1,125,000, the same description. Those are 2 comparables to today's property. So those 2 are 2 comps. The property themselves, we consider to be a comp. In addition to the property itself, we found 2 other comparables in neighboring communities. In Newfane, there 322 River Road. There was a listed $1,495,000 property that sold for $1,166,000. It has an arena, 92.21 acres, and a 9,272 square foot finished area. And its arena, we'll show the dimensions in a much more visible Excel sheet of the size of each of the arenas. During the 4th property is in Londonderry, 904 Raleigh Road. List price $2,850,000, sale price $2,650,000, and arena 54.20 acres, 8,110 finished area dwelling. During the lister grievance, Mr. Buckley included his official appraisal of 448 Deer Park, as well as 3 comparables. The first one was 1101 Tuttle Street in Reading, Vermont. Sale price $600,000. It has a 7,500 square foot arena, and it's on 39.22 acres. A more specific is in, again, your Excel sheet. His second comparable was at 829 South Street, New Haven, Vermont. Sale price $840,000, a 10,000 square foot arena, and 81.30 acres. The third comparable was 185 Adams Road in Brandon, Vermont. Sale price $1,234,200, 6,500 square foot arena with 5 barns. Note, the third comp, which Mr. Buckley stated, was the closest to our Deer Park 448 property. In reviewing Mr. Buckley's appraisal report of 448 Deer Park Road, he used the following criteria. He said the quality was average. He said the basement was 1,000 square feet. It is actually 480 square feet. So we have, that's $27,568 that needs to be subtracted from his price because it was a smaller basement. The outbuildings, he said 3, and we actually have 15. Unknown assessment difference, you'll see the property cost card. The entire value of all outbuildings is $363,100. So I will approximate the mistake of values at another plus $150,000. The arena he had at 28,600 square feet. It is actually 37,125 square feet. That's another 61,000 to add on. Site improvements, he only recognized 1 well, and there are 2 wells on the property. That's another $5,000. If you take into account the items that Mr. Buckley missed in his appraisal, it would change his actual appraisal value to $1,138,432, using the original Buckley appraisal value and the $768,670 using Mr. Buckley's appraisal value proposed to the BCA. So therefore, if you take the Buckley appraisal of $950,000, you do the math, the actual cost that he has to agree upon, because he missed very important points, would be $1,138,432. If you take into the amount he's proposing to the BCA appeal of $576,175, if you do the math, the end would be $764,670. It is apparent to us that no site visit was done by Mr. Buckley, because these were glaring errors that one could easily look at as they were at, like the dimensions of the basement, for instance, and that there was another well. You will receive a definition of the lister's job. Good faith, and our job is a good faith assessment of property. You'll see a handout in your package that says what a lister does, the overview of the responsibility. But the most important part of a lister's job, is to listen to the property owners, to give a fair and equal assessment of the property in question, and follow by the process of assessment set up for the Vermont Department of Taxes. In conclusion, we based our thorough site inspection, and we stand by our fair assessed value of this property at $771,300. However, as you go to look at this property on your site visit, please keep in mind that this property could easily be valued at over $1 million based on the fair market value of the comps that have been provided to you, as well as the flawed professional appraisal submitted by the appellant. Although we have included the definition of terms, which is in your packet, as a separate attachment to your packet, it is, as it is of particular importance to this case, I would like to read the definition of the CLA, or the common level appraisal. I'd like to verbally speak of it at this time. The common level of appraisal, or the CLA, for every Vermont town is the primary result of an equalization study performed by the tax department of the state of Vermont every year. The study compares the ratio of grand list values to sale prices for all arm's length sales in the town over the prior 3-year period. The study considers sale prices as the best measurement of fair market value. You can get whatever the traffic bears. If grand list values are generally less than the sale price for the recent sales, the town will end up with a CLA less than 100%. Once the CLA is determined, it is used to adjust the homestead and non-residential educational tax rate. The CLA doesn't change people's property values, only the educational tax rate in a town, an example of indirect equalization. Note, the CLA is applied by the state to ascertain the education tax for each town. The CLA is only let by the Vermont Tax Department every year as a result of sales studies done by individual towns and sent to the state each year after April 1st It does not affect the grand list assessed value. That is a absolute definition of CLA. We will reserve our rebuttal for our second.
Are there any questions for the listers by the Board of Civil Authority?
Not yet. Oh, yeah. You want to pass things around. These are packets which contain pertinent laws, all of the information we presented with backup information. So when you are deliberating, you'll have that information in front of you. You don't have to remember what we said.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes.
You had it raised before grievance day at $1,900,000.
It was 1,009,000.
Then after you went up and looked at it and found that the cellar was smaller and wet and the porch was in bad shape. Just on condition and the measurements, it lowered it to 700.
We did indeed. Our job is to do a fair assessment of a property, of what we see, the condition, the quality. We cannot jerry-rig those figures. We can't go back and insert them in the cost table and go, geez, this is only 777,000. That's not our purview. That's not our right to do. We make a good judgment that the three of us agree on, have consensus on. We plug the figures in, and that's what it is. There are guardrails provided by the state in the townwide reassessment, which puts the new tax tables in. So if we say it's in good condition, has this many square feet, and this is the end cost, that's what it is. We can't play with those figures, and we honestly found, we listened to the owners, and we honestly found.
All that information
And all that information is in there.
is in the software.
It was in the software. We can't fiddle with it. The building costs, all the stats are put in every time we have a townwide reassessment. So we can't fiddle with those. We say the condition was good, then that's the price. So that way it's very fair to everyone, not on our opinion of who we're doing. Yes, please.
So my question is, the NEMRIC program that you use for tax assessing.
Gamma and then, yep.
Gamma and NEMRIC, okay. Help me remember or learn again. They are based on building cost
Yes.
estimates.
Yes.
So that's like, again, it costs this much for this kind
Absolutely.
of flooring by this many square
And
feet.
we don't do that.
Right,
the
that's,
state does
that's
it,
it.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Any other board members with questions for the listers? Okay, next is testimony and evidence given by the appellant. Are you speaking?
Well, actually, I'll probably let David speak. but
Okay,
He did a report, but he did come up to the property and reviewed it.
So is it my turn to speak up, or shall I wait a sec?
yes,
Yes, speak up. Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm, as a native Vermonter and as the assessor for the town of Bridgewater, that I applaud this taking place at the local level, because this is where it should take place. And I tip my hat to all of you. Now, there's a problem in terminology. The listers described common level of appraisal. That is a term for the state educational tax rate. And the tax rate is for the educational portion of your tax bill. We provided you a common level of assessment, not an appraisal. And since the town clerk is present, I would ask the town clerk if those sales on that chart, all, how many were there? 79? Lost my notes here. Well, I can look. Did you give it? There were 79 sales since the last reappraisal. And the chart shows two things: numbers that are administered by your town clerk, because This is all done at the local level, thank goodness. And the town clerk accepts a property transfer form. It's signed. She sends that on to the state of Vermont. And these numbers are off the property transfer form. And what I'm going to ask for the Board of Civil Authority and I'm going to ask the town clerk, are these numbers accurate? Do they reflect fair market values in Halifax? Do they leave sales out that should have been included? Is there anything that might be misconstrued as inaccurate with this sales data? That's to the town clerk.
Those are the figures that were on the property transfer tax return. Those are the
And,
figures.
and you administer those returns at the local level, right? You're the gatekeeper.
Right, those were the figures that were on the property transfer tax return as sales values and current property value of that sale.
All right, so I'm going to respectfully ask that you throw out the term common level of appraisal and you represent the mathematical ratio of what the town is assessing properties for based on their sale price. That's mathematically correct. So in the process of assessment, and I'm an assessor, you do two things. You determine fair market value, and I determine fair market value. The town did the same, made a good faith effort, and it actually was reduced from what I found. But when you're done determining fair market value as is defined by the state of Vermont and by the case law, you have to make an equity adjustment. And you have to recognize that since 2021 to 2025, the assessments have been lagging the sales prices. In fact, they've been lagging the sales prices by 60%. So if somebody comes in 2025 with a fair market value of $950,000 and say you're assessing everybody else in town at 60%, I want to be 60% too. You need to speak to this. Now, I know that there are 180 towns in the state of Vermont that are experiencing the same problem. The market changed. But you can't walk away from the fact that you have to make an equity adjustment if you're taxing other people's in your town differently than you want to tax this person. Now, I want to make note of 5042 Vermont Route 112 because we brought this up to the listers. It sold for $2,600,000 in $627.25, and you have it assessed for $885.8. Now, this is a problem. I think it should be addressed at the local level. I know that the good members of the community on the BCA understand what I'm saying. But if you're not going to address the common level of assessment and hang your hat on the common level of state educational ratio, it's just going to go to the next level because the case law is absolutely firm on this. You cannot assess somebody more than you're assessing their neighbors. And the town clerk has confirmed that these numbers are correct. And on average, you're assessing your community at 60%. You must do the same thing for this party. That's my position, and I hope you respect where I'm coming from. And I think that really sums up the problem at hand tonight.
Now, Toby, I can add it.
Are there any questions from the Board of Civil Authority to the appellants or their representative?
Do you have any handouts that you could give us or any information that you could give us to look over?
I have.
I would respectfully ask that you take the portion of the report that was submitted that reflects the sales data from 21 to 25 separately. And of course, if the town clerk finds fault with those numbers, we would respectfully defer to her judgment on that, because she's the gatekeeper. She knows what those PTRs say. And this is really an equity problem. And the term appraisal value and assessment often get confused, and they're used interchangeably. Well, that's not the case. The process, as was laid out very nicely by your lister about what the BCA is asked to do, and thank goodness we have it at the local level. You're asked to determine the fair market value, and if whatever you determine is up to you. That's what your inspection committee is going to do. But you also have to recognize that you have to equitably assess, because assessing is different than appraising. Fair market value is today. The assessment is 2021. And the assessment in 2021 represents NIMRIC's cost data that is so out of date that it couldn't possibly lead to the right conclusion unless we bring ourselves back to 2025 and talk about the market it is today. And we've made that attempt in good faith, and we will rely on the town clerk to say whether these numbers are right or wrong or not. If they're not right, we'll go down that road. Thank you.
Any more questions? Hearing none, I'd like to item response by the listers.
Okay. The grand list is used by the state along with an equalization study to set each town CLA. Like to, before I continue, I would like to also say there's a big difference between fair market value. When we did this in 2021, it was right during, just before the COVID crisis. So as you'll recall, after COVID had listers, we recall properties were selling at double their value. Fair market value is whatever the hell you can get. It's whatever the traffic will bear. It is not my job to follow along with that. We have to abide by the criteria set forth by the townwide reassessment. Every year, we get the result of the equalization, which is the CLA, from the state, which is the only CLA that's acceptable. Ours was 71, not 60. That's a cherry-picked CLA that Mr. Buffett came up with. That's got nothing to do with reality. We have to abide by what the state says our values are. What is in NEMRIC, what is in CAMA. It is, and that 21 townwide reassessment was a snapshot on that day, what that property was worth. The next day, the barn could have fallen down, or the fair market values could have gone over the roof. That's not my job to every week come in here and say, oh my God, that property sold for twice the amount. I've got to change the value of everybody's property. I don't think anyone here in this community would like if I kept changing, the listers kept changing the values of other people's property. That's why we only consider the change to look at a property with the eye to change during grievance, not every day of the year. So I want to point that out. Mr. Buckley is going to argue that the CLA that he came up with, it was 60%, 60 point something. Property values are not going down. CLA is not up for debate. It is set by the state tax department of the state of Vermont. It is not appropriate to use a cherry picking methodology to assume a value that works for a particular interest. That's called sales chasing. There is no precedent for this practice to perform one's own equalization study as it is biased and within the purview of the state only. As many of the glaring defects in this property were not included in Mr. Buckley's assessment, the number of outbuildings, the square footage of the basement, the square footage of the arena. It can be assumed that he did not do a site visit. Maybe he did, maybe he just didn't see all these things we did. thus casting doubt on figures that he came up with. We stand by our fair assessed value. If we were to only use a fair market approach, we feel that this property could actually be much, much higher, as shown by the comps. We will stand by our resulting figure of 771,300. By the way, the appellant wanted 950,000. They were thinking that's a great appraisal. We gave them 200,000 less than that, and they're still not happy. There is truth in the two sales of this property. There is truth that the purchase price of this property is in the $1 million range. The purchase price, the fair market value. And best practices dictate that these two fair market values were seen and inspected by realtors, assessors, and inspection companies hired by potential buyers.
Right.
Mr. Buckley used his own CLA of 60.65% to arrive at his idea of a fair market value of 950,000. It is not acceptable and is not the official CLA set by the state law. Then he used it again and applied it to our resulting grievances, which was 771,300, and he's bringing it down again to 576,175. The arena alone, as you'll notice from the cost sheet, is almost $300,000. That's the arena, okay? Mr. Buckley's initial argument was based on his assumption that our CLA for the town was out of whack, meaning that it was too high. This resulted in his suggestion and accepted assessment value of $950,000. Mr. Buckley ended his argument. Ending argument was based on his assumption that our townwide reassessed values were too low. His example was the Shanks property at 542 Vermont Route 112, which was assessed by the assessors for 808 by the listers for 805,800. And it just sold for $2,600,000. So I see there's a very big conflict of logic here. We're too low, we're too high. It fits his needs. And I think our bringing this property down to $771,300 because we felt it was fair because of the condition of the outbuildings, because the correct measurements of things, and listening to the owners, their concerns about the heat, the roof. We took that into consideration. We treated them as we would treat anyone in the community with a fair and unbiased look. I hope that you will look carefully at the packages and see the laws behind our facts.
May I respond?
Yes, you can now. Your last word by the appellate.
Okie dokie. This is a judicial process. The listers do not work for the state of Vermont. They work for the town of Halifax. Their reference to state numbers or NIMRIC software is third-party hearsay. That's called hearsay. They have no basis to represent themselves as experts on a state common level of appraisal, educational tax number, as that being equated with a common level of assessment that is demonstrated. This was not made up by me. These are the sales in your town that are administered by your town clerk. And these are the relationships of the assessment to those sale prices. So I don't think it's judicially proper for the listers who work for your town to represent third-party hearsay as to the validity of a NIMRIC software program or the state educational tax rate. They don't work for the state. They didn't bring anything in from the state. There's no representative from NIMRIC here to tell you how they do it. So they have their job. They're doing the best they can, but they can't lose track of the fact that your assessments are lagging your the market value. The sale at 5402 Route 112 assessed at 885 and sold for 2.6 million. Well, that should just sum it right up as to how good that system really is. A la 2021. Yes, it's time to bring it up to reality, but I don't like it being misrepresented that you should take third-party NIMRIC data or third-party numbers that the state uses for educational tax rate. Your tax bill is broken into two things: your municipal tax rate and the state educational tax rate. You unfortunately have the responsibility of assessing for the state. And if you're going to assess for the state, you have to follow the equity guidelines of assessing people equally with how you're assessing their neighbors. So that's my position, and I hope you'll make note of the fact that within a judicial context, the listers are representing other people's work, and that's called hearsay. Thank you very much.
I guess, some stuff, I don't know, either way, both are very good.
We appreciate it
Yeah.
coming out.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
What was the date of the sale on 112?
6/27/25.
When was the grievance day?
What was the question?
I was wondering when
Hmm?
the date of the sale on 112.
6/27/25.
Is that the Shanks property you're referring to for clarity?
Oh, yeah.
And then
There
what
was no
day?
appeal on that property.
No, but what was the day of the,
Oh, that just sold a few weeks ago.
yeah, well, what was the day of the grievance day?
Oh, the grievance for this property?
Yeah,
This, the grievance was June 4th.
well, how can you use figures?
The courts have ruled you can, all right? The courts have ruled that a sale that takes place after April 1, 2025 can be considered a valid indication of market value. So the courts are not in favor of that argument.
Just for clarification, do you happen to have the case so we can look into that?
I could provide you with 4 or 5 Supreme Court cases that go to great lengths to point out that you need to equitably adjust properties based on how you're assessing them in the community. I think probably your town council would have access to those same cases, and probably you should ask them to provide them to you. I just think that's a smarter way to go.
I have a question for
Yeah.
the listers. When do you have to have the grand list finalized deadline for 2025?
It is up to April, as of April 1st, and we do it in June. We finalize it after, excuse me. We submit it after grievances, and I believe this year we submitted it mid-June. Yeah.
What day? What day?
I don't know. She's gonna
The
find
town
out.
clerk knows. The town clerk knows because the town clerk submits it.
She's going to look it up, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Jillian, I'm gonna mute you. Sorry, Jillian, I'm just gonna mute you. Thanks. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Mr. and Mrs. Price, did you feel that the listers were fair when they came and reevaluated your property?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess I'm having a hard time understanding this whole process. It felt like there were things that you had as discrepancies. They came, they addressed them, they actually dropped it, and I'm just trying to understand why all this.
We bought the property last July. Got a tax bill of $35,000.
Well,
It kind of
It
started.
was 24 and it jumped up to 35,000, right
Everybody's
right
good.
when we bought it.
Yeah, so,
Everyone in the state.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
but-
one
and I
is-
understand.
But anyway, so we contacted Mr. Buckley and he came out and did a appraisal. And came up with a certain figure.
So was that after the Halifax listers came or before?
Before.
So if they had come before you contacted him, would we be here today?
Well, I guess he's putting up the point that the property value should be a certain point, but
Could you just talk a little louder?
maybe Mr. Buckley could answer this better.
Well, no, I'm trying to find out your feelings. I understand, but I'm trying to understand what your feelings were after the Halifax listers came and went over everything with you. It just, I'm getting the feeling from Mr. Buckley that our whole town is wrong and that everybody should be here grieving and that we should change everybody's number, which really wouldn't change anybody's tax bill. Am I correct? I mean, if you changed everybody's tax bill, then everybody would still be paying the same taxes. It would just be different, but I just want to know from you that you were,
Good question. 2021, how many acres were included in your property at that time? in Valuation? Because they sold 50.
I don't know, across the street, no, but with
There's
86 acres.
86?
There were,
Because I thought they sold 50 acres.
86 acres in, at the time of the townwide reassessment, there were 86 acres.
Okay, we knew they.
And there are now presently 86
But I
acres.
think right before you guys bought, then they sold
Okay.
okay. Some.
Right.
Yeah, because we thought it was more before that.
Yeah.
But basically, you know, with our daughter here, Alyssa, you know, she grew up, went to school in Vermont, went to college, came back, wants to stay in Vermont. We've got this huge tax bill, so we hired Mr. Buckley because we thought, you know, $35,000. I mean, how is someone gonna stay in Vermont, a young person, and farm and be part of town? And we're from West and North, and we're down here half-time with her, but she's down here full-time. So we hired Mr. Buckley, and then he had told us that even after the appraisal went down, which they were all wonderful. They were wonderful to deal with. They were very fair. They measured everything. You know, the listers were wonderful. And he thought that because he told us that everybody else was being taxed at 16%, and we were being taxed at higher. And that's why he told us that we should come forward to this stage. So we love the town. Everyone's been really nice. We're really not bad, I promise.
Any more questions?
are you a business or just resident?
It's an LLC.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, all right.
Alyssa went
That's
to-
important to know because it's important to know that there's different tax brackets for different resident versus LLC, a business.
It's,
We're not
it's a-
homestead.
It's a decline. Yeah, we're not homestead because we own it, even though she's full-time. We're not
Okay.
ready to sign it over to her.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
But, yeah.
There isn't any other questions. I want to move on to appointment of an inspection committee. And we need a minimum of 3 to inspect the property. To be completed within 30 days by statute. So I entertain some volunteers.
I'd be happy to do it.
You,
I'll go up.
Caitlin?
Can be more than 3, can it?
It can be more than.
It can be
three.
more than 3.
I think it should be. If people can make it, that'd be great.
I'll do it. Just, we need to know when we're gonna do it. That's the only thing. My schedule is,
Well, we need to set up a time for the appellant that's convenient for them, so they're there. And everybody goes to, I think, together as a group.
Clarity, what does that mean? I have Edie, Caitlin, and Randy. Is the whole board going? I know what you mean.
I'll go. Okay. I just gotta have a time. 'Cause I'm-
Well,
I'm
we'll
bored.
send on,
Is there anybody else from the Justices of the Peace that has done this more recently? I'm really rusty. I don't know when you last did a site visit.
I believe I've done one.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh dear, I don't want to be the only one with having at least done one. I did a couple in the day.
No, I've done a few. I can go.
Okay, so I have Edie, Caitlin, Randy, Rhonda, and Malcolm.
I will interject that the reason I like to, me personally, I like to have everybody that's on this committee go as one. Each of you have different abilities. And somebody will see something or not see something that somebody else might. That's, our job here is to try to come to the fairest value we can get. I'm not saying we'll be correct, just trying to get the fairest, in my opinion.
And if we have five of us, if there is a conflict with scheduling, and we can, as long as we have a minimum
And,
rate, we can.
Right.
Okay.
What time would you suggest?
We can be flexible. Whatever works.
Okay. Review committee. What works for you?
Rainy day.
We're not getting any.
That's too many of them.
You had one today
Yeah.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
A Monday, a Wednesday, or a Friday only for me.
I'm flexible. I'll make it work.
Specific time on those days, Randy? Morning, late morning, or afternoon?
Mornings are always best probably, but I know Malcolm's schedule.
After 9 in the morning.
What about this upcoming Monday?
oh. 18th, I think it's
What day is that?
18th.
That would be the 18th of August.
I'll just keep on making it. Wednesday? You said Wednesday. I can do Friday. I can't, I got an appointment.
Good luck. We're now hurting. Now
This is where it gets good.
Friday the 22nd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having
that
a
works.
surgery Thursday, so I don't know if will be better.
Friday, the 22nd. Is that what you're deciding on?
When's your
No?
surgery? Thursday, the 21st.
Oh, so that's,
Ooh.
Who couldn't do Wednesday? though?
I can't do
I
Wednesday.
can't.
Okay,
I
all
get it.
right.
Yes, I can't do that
What's
Wednesday.
the following week?
Yep, so for the following week.
Um,
So the following week, I can do Monday and Wednesday. I may have a commitment on Friday. I haven't been able to get an answer.
What day is that?
So 25th. Sorry,
What's the following week you're talking about?
August 25th would
starting the
be
25th.
Monday, and or August 27th is a Wednesday.
Week of the 25th, I have my grandmother's service. I'm gonna be out of town.
Back to the 22nd.
Was there any day sooner that we can do it? Still like
So
Monday, you said you couldn't do it this coming Monday?
but can everybody else do it
right,
Monday?
other people can.
I could.
I gotta check. I don't know. I should have taken a picture of this.
that's what I do.
I think I can.
Should be good.
I gotta look.
And I'm back to thinking about 22nd. It works for Caitlin.
Which day was that?
So Friday.
Friday?
I didn't say that
She
didn't
didn't
work.
say it didn't work.
It
She
might,
wasn't
it just
sure.
might not be.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, cause
yeah.
that's, I'm getting all messed up. Yeah, my surgery is Thursday. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's, I can't, I don't know how I'll be feeling, so.
Right.
It doesn't matter how you're feeling, you're not doing
No,
anything,
you
you're
shouldn't.
taking it easy on Friday, I'm
Cut it
watching over
out.
you.
Cut it out.
I mean, does somebody else want you, not to take it away from you, but does somebody else wanna say they can do it and give Caitlin this week that we got?
I wanna be part of it, cause I've never done one. So. What about tomorrow? No? Anybody do it tomorrow?
Tomorrow, already booked for half of my day with non-work.
What's
things.
tomorrow?
I do
What's
have to-
today?
Today's
I
13th,
do it.
tomorrow's Thursday, the 14th.
Okay.
Why don't you pick the 22nd? And if you don't feel like doing it, I'll alternate with you.
Okay,
Okay.
22nd, 9 o'clock.
We need to move this
Does
on.
that work for you, Malcolm, 9 o'clock, or would you prefer 9:30?
Well, 9:30 be better, but I can do 9.
9:30,
9:30?
Yeah.
Friday, the
So you
22nd.
got hurt today. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
You did?
Does that work
Might
for
have broke her
you,
hand.
Alex and Kim?
Up from
Yeah,
work.
what day is that?
Oh, she was leaving me.
Friday,
Held out,
August
she fell down.
22nd.
Oops. She going to the hospital?
She's went to Yeah.
Okay, so the site visit has been set for Friday, August 22nd at 9:30. Do you want to set a date of reconvening now, which will, or do you want to wait until after the next hearing of the Franklin Hill property? And then we could just be in touch with the appellates.
Probably we should wait, I think, until we get this second appeal heard.
Does that work for you if we just give you a ring and let you know when the next, okay, absolutely.
Within 30 days, correct? This.
Yeah.
Yep. Talking about the committee report.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Right, so the inspection committee will report back to the board within 30 days of the hearing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm dying off. They're down by the horse barn. She's leaving down the hill.
They have old.
So we'll leave
people
that
that used to live there,
after we
'cause
do
I never
You
get
get right
the next-
downhill, it's different.
I do next hearing.
After the
Hearing.
Try to show that you
Oh,
can
yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
Yep.
and especially when she's with her dad.
Okay.
Poor girl.
I know Patty, I know Malcolm. Yeah.
Rick Stone.
Rick, okay.
P.D. Edwards.
Do you want us to introduce ourselves?
Be nice.
I'm Patty Pusey.
Randy Pike.
Rhonda Ashcraft.
Aaron Corser.
Caitlin, so.
Thank you.
You're like-
And thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Welcome to the. Thank you.
Thank you. Late. We are.
Okay.
This is reference on Nathan Standishes.
Next grievance is from Nathaniel Standish. And I will read a letter that's dated Monday, July 7th. Good evening. On Monday, June 30th, we received received the result of the appeal in regards to the value of our property listed at 225 Franklin Hill Road, parentheses back. We would like to appeal this decision to the Board of Civil Authority on the grounds that your determination of fair market value does not reflect the fact that our parcel is landlocked and inaccessible from a public right-of-way. This fact significantly impairs the fair market value of this parcel of land, i.e. the price that a willing buyer would pay in an arm's length transaction. Please confirm receipt of this email within the 14-day deadline. Thank you, Nathaniel Standish.
The Board of Civil Authority has already taken their oath, Nathaniel, and so have the Board of Listers, but I have an oath for you to take if you want to raise your right hand, and Jillian, you may do so as well.
I will unmute Jillian because I muted her.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
I do.
Okay, I've read the letters submitted by the appellants and I've been sworn in, so I need a presentation by the Board of Listers.
Okay, great. Okay, this property that we're deciding on tonight, that this property is described as parcel ID FRN period 02B, which is 225 Franklin Hill Road. It consists of 50 acres, which is not developed and has a land grade of 0.9. This property does not have any road frontage and is currently valued at $88,200. During the initial grievance, Nathaniel and Jillian Standish requested the lister grievance, which was held on June 4th, 2025. They were requesting the property value to be lowered because it was landlocked and they did not have any access to it except through another parcel in Massachusetts, which they presently do not have any access through. They also stated they did not use any town resources. Nathaniel and Jillian inherited this property from family. During the grievance, it was stated that in the past, access was granted through Jesse Wood Lane. Jillian stated that it is owned by family and they have not asked them to grant access to their parcel. Nathaniel stated the original land in Massachusetts was subdivided in 1980 and sold to another family member. During the grievance in June, we asked if they will continue to talk with the family abutters to gain access to their property. Jillian stated that option is in the future, but wanted to inquire whether there was a property tax relief in the meantime. The result of their grievance hearing was no change to the property value of $88,200. Town listers only value the property as it stands. Within Halifax, there are 3 examples of other properties that do not have road frontage. The first of which is 520 Woodard Hill. That consists of 10 acres. It is undeveloped, has a land grade of 0.7, excuse me, and has a value of $20,000. The next comparable in town is 3112 Green River Road. This consists of 40 acres, land and dwelling structure with a land grade of 0.7. The dwelling and structures have been removed from the value of this property due to no access since Hurricane Irene, when their bridge was taken out over the Green River Road. This has a current value of $75,300. And the last comparable that we have is 310 Vermont Route 112. This consists of 86 acres undeveloped land, has a grade of 0.6. This parcel has a contiguous family-owned piece, and its value is $107,400. In conclusion, we stand by our current assessment value of $88,200, as this is a buildable lot of land. We address the issue of logistics around landlocked properties, as there are, quote, no landlocked properties in Vermont. The remedies are ask an abutter for a right of way or go to the local select board, possibly leading to a court involvement. When presenting this to the landowners at the time of grievance, they were aware of this option, but did not want to incur the expenses. This process is not part of the lister's job. It falls on the landowner. This parcel was subdivided many years prior, and a right of way should have been established at that time to the lot that did not have road frontage. Citing a court case, Meyer versus LaCase in 2003, when the division and transfer of commonly owned land creates a parcel without access to the public road, in such a case, the purchaser of landlocked parcel is entitled to a right-of-way over the remaining lands of the common grantor or his successors in title. To obtain a way of necessity, one must show that, one, there was a division of commonly owned land, as in this case, and two, the division resulted in creating a landlocked parcel. In our opinion, it would be reasonable to lower the land grade of this property from the 0.9 to the 0.7, as in the 520 Woodard Hill property. This would lower the total value of this property.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
You're referencing land, land quality 0.7, 0.9. What is the scale? Is it 0 to 1?
You can go up to 2, 3, 4. If you had a lot of view, it might be a 2.
Okay.
The average grade of land in Halifax is a 1.
Okay.
Being the best,
Pardon?
one being
Right,
the best.
the higher values are better.
Average of a building site in, there are some pieces of land that have great views from town, like the vineyard. So the house site is probably 2 on that one. That gives you an idea.
Thank you.
As we said, we'd be very willing to bring down the grade to 0.7 instead of 0.9.
Thank you for clarifying.
You have a question?
Did you make that clear when grievance
No,
day
at the
or?
time, we were understanding that as a job of listers, at the time of our response to grievance, was not their use of the property, whether they used our facilities or not, that they decided they did not want to, they knew the relief, and they decided they did not want to pursue that because of money or asking family. Because since whenever it was purchased years ago, people had access to that, but then someone died, willed it to them, and it's the same piece of property. So we felt it was important that they show interest enough in their land to pursue the address remedies. And it was a 0.9.
Any other questions from the Board of Civil Authority? The listers? We're all good? Okay. Entertain testimony and evidence given by the appellant, please.
All right, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak tonight. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Great. As you know, I'm Nathaniel Standish and I'm here with my sister Jillian Standish. We are the co-owners of 225 Back Franklin Hill Road, and I'll just emphasize the word back in parentheses, which is obviously key to our argument here. We're appealing the Board of Listers' denial of our property tax grievance. You'll hear that we feel like the Board of Listers did not engage with key facts that are critical.
Sorry, I'm gonna mute David Buckley because he is apparently still hanging out. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No worries. All right, so you'll hear that we believe that the Board of Listers did not engage with key facts that are critical to answering the question, what is the current fair value of this property? So some of the background, which you heard in the prior statement, but I'll go through that again. This land was purchased in 1970 by our father and his parents. The purchase included the 50-acre parcel in Halifax, which we're discussing tonight, plus an abutting parcel of 250 acres in Coleraine, Massachusetts. The abutting parcel in Coleraine, Massachusetts is accessible from Jacksonville Road. The parcel in Halifax cannot be accessed from any public right-of-way, hence the word back in the address. In the 1980s, our father and his parents sold the parcel in Coleraine to our father's sister and her husband. Our father retained the 50-acre parcel in Halifax and effectively subdivided the property as of that point in time. Jillian and I inherited the property upon the death of our father in 2024. And I'll also mention what you heard earlier, that the parcel is completely vacant. There's no structures and no improvements, and it's just forest land. We believe that given that the subdivision occurred in the 1980s, we think this property has been overvalued since then and are acting now because we assumed ownership of the property in 2024. As I said in my opening, the key question here is what is the fair value of this land? And fair market value is defined as the most probable price which a property should bring in a competitive and open market under all conditions requisite to a fair sale, the buyer and seller each acting prudently, knowledgeably, and assuming the price is not affected by undue stimulus. In a competitive and open market, buyers of this land would consider the highest and best use of the property and his or her ability to achieve this highest and best use given current facts and circumstances. Potential uses of the land include residential development, timber harvesting, and farming. But it is impossible to achieve these uses because the property is landlocked and cannot be accessed from a public right-of-way. Thus, the land has limited value and should be taxed accordingly. In addition to no access from a public right-of-way, there is no documented legal right to access the property via any of the abutting properties. Even if the legal right to access the land existed, there is no established road or path that would enable easy physical access to the land. Thus, our parcel cannot be valued like similarly sized parcels that are accessible and usable. The value of our property needs to reflect the legal fees that a buyer would incur to obtain legal access to the property, as well as the construction costs that a buyer would incur to build an access road to the property and make it usable. A buyer would pay far less for this property knowing that they had to incur additional costs to legally and physically access the land. Now, to address some of the comments from the Board of Listers. They have declined to consider these important facts and circumstances for our property, which significantly impair its fair market value. The appeal was denied on the grounds that the Board of Listers recommended that we negotiate with our father, sister, and husband who own the abutting property in Coleraine, Massachusetts, to gain access to our property in Halifax, Vermont, or go through the court to gain access as there is no landlocked land in Vermont. This is a complete distraction from the key question of what is the value of this land today. Also note that the original contiguous land, and they also mentioned the court case and the precedent of common land, is in Massachusetts, so it's outside of the jurisdiction of Vermont. The fact that our father's sister and her husband own abutting property in Coleraine is completely irrelevant. They have their own economic interests and do not want a road constructed on their property so that our property in Vermont can be accessed. The denial also notes that the townwide reassessment performed in 2021 assumed that our parcel of land is part of the abutting land in Coleraine. As mentioned above, this is not correct. The town's assessment is based on erroneous information. The parcels were subdivided in the 1980s. So, for all the reasons I've discussed, we strongly believe that this property is grossly overvalued by the Board of Listers. 225 back Franklin Hill Road cannot be valued like other parcels of land that are accessible and usable. A reduction of the current assessment for tax purposes of approximately 50% is appropriate. Thank you.
Does Jillian have anything to add?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, are there any questions from the Board of Civil Authority?
Yeah. How far is the land from the road, from main road access?
I think it's about a half a mile. But the road in Massachusetts is essentially a driveway.
But it is town maintained. Jesse Wood Lane. Am I right? Correct or?
I mean, we don't own it, so we don't know. We don't live there. It's not our property.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, is there a response from the listers?
Well, you also, in this particular case, talked about fair market value. That is not the concern of the listers, meaning we do not judge a land property by current fair market value. It could be $1 million, it could be $4. That's not our concern. We are ruled by the side rails that the state of Vermont supplies through its CLA, through its its need for a townwide reassessment in order to get land prices within a certain level. So we don't respond to fair market value. And I know that some people think that we do. Fair market value is whatever the public can bear. We take into consideration that, and we also do not take into consideration your decision of use for it. If it was purchased in 1970 and then subdivided in 1980, we wonder why this issue was not brought up then to supply. I mean, it was accepted for 30, 40, 55 years as a landlocked piece of property. It was accepted, used, whatever. We also do not take in consideration if someone buys a piece of property of how much it would cost to construct a road or get legal, pay legal bills. That isn't within our purview. We see a piece of land, we cited other lands in the town that did not have a road frontage, and they have followed. There is a remedy. You can go to court. And you can go to the select board in this town and start the process there. You have told us you don't want to do that. Well, that's your problem, not ours. You said that you don't want to ask your family, which I don't care if you do or not. You prefer not to do that as a remedy. There's two remedies that we happen to see that are possible. So why should the town assume the responsibility of your decision not to at least figure out a remedy? Yes, it's a back piece. We have several back pieces. We have 52 Woodard Road, that's a back piece, 10 acres undeveloped. We have parcel in Vermont 210B that we cited, 86 acres. It's a back piece. And they have found a solution. That, like I said, you have to pursue some possible remedies. We are not your remedy. We were because we would hear you, we have said that we would not oppose lowering the land grade. Other than that, there's nothing else we can do. There's no structure on it. The only thing guiding the price of that land is its grade. And it obviously is worth something because it's been in your family for many, many years. This issue was never addressed. I don't know what else to say. That's not in our purview to consider the other issues.
I would like to respond to the access from Jesse Wood Lane. To gain access to this land from Jesse Wood Lane is about 1,000 to 1,500 feet straight uphill. It is not easily accessible from Jesse Wood Lane. I don't think you could access it from Jesse Wood Lane, even if we wanted to. So any remedy that we need to pursue will be having to go through one of the other abutters that have easier access, more on-grade access to the land. Also, you mentioned why didn't this get dealt with since the 80s? You'd have to ask our father.
Sure.
We don't know. You know, he held on to this land for years and years and years. He held on to a lot of things for many years without properly dealing with them. And so we can't speak to why he didn't ever manage this, but now we are. And what we see is a parcel of land that is extremely difficult to develop from our family's abutting property. And a piece of land that is really overvalued because it is completely landlocked, and we would need to seek remedy from other abutters other than family that could be quite costly.
But you don't know until you try it.
That's my
Yeah.
point is exactly that, Pat.
So can I ask the listers a question? So going from 0.9 to a 0.7, do we have an idea what that would do to the
I would
numbers?
have to go in and run the numbers. If you wanted me to do that for this hearing, I can do it. Typically, we do it after you ascertain your results. It would, I'm giving a rough, you really can't, it probably would go from 88 to 60 or something like that. Or 70, I was reluctant to do that.
That's a guesstimate, guesstimate.
Because it's inappropriate for us to act on something that has not been decided. I really feel they're paying, but I just don't, I can't go by fair market value. That's not what we do.
Can I just respond to that? Because the appeal that, or the, I'm sorry, the denial of the appeal that we received, obviously you can't see this, but it says appeal denied. Fair market value remains 88,200. So how can the Board of Listers be saying they don't deal in fair market value, but yet this piece of paper from them says
I
fair
apologize for, it should have been fair assessed value. That was incorrect. It should be fair assessed value. I apologize for that mistake. And we'd like to clarify that at this time.
And then I also just want to make it clear that we're not asking the Board of Listers for remedy to the access issue. We're asking for relief of what is the value of this property and how much tax should we be paying. We understand that access is
And
a
the only, I just
Oh,
real important, the
yeah.
only factor on raw land like that is the grade. That's the only thing that influences the price. Okay, so that's the only thing we can tweak. Because there's no buildings, no structures.
So he's only asking for a reduction in his taxes, is that it? He's not,
Not taxes, but let's make.
I mean,
it clear. We don't have anything
the
to-
value.
We don't have anything to do with taxes.
I mean, you know.
But he's asking for
Reduction in
a
assessment.
reduction in the
Assessment.
assessment
The
of the
assessed
property.
value.
Okay,
Am I correct?
that is
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
And I'd love to give it to you.
I mean, if you want to build a road to the property, we'll take it.
That's not our problem.
Yeah. Get in line. There's many people that would like that.
Well, that brings us to a point. Oh, go ahead. You got a question?
It's, and I don't even know, like, so the other parcel that was originally part of this isn't in Halifax, so it's not
Right.
really a subdivision, right? I mean, it's always,
No.
for our purposes, we can only think about what is in
Exactly.
Halifax and in the state of Vermont.
Right,
So, okay.
really.
Thank you.
It's a tough case.
So Mary, is that something that the listers can do right now? They can drop the value from,
We could, yeah, we could drop it by, we can only change the grade, which is now.
right.
0.9. We think a 0.7 is absolutely reasonable.
I guess why is
And
that
with
coming up? Why wasn't that brought up at the original appeal?
The original grievance, we discussed, at that time, we discussed your reluctance, your remedy for it, which you both said you did not want to spend the money to go to court. So.
Right. The whole
So-
remedy thing, I think, is a distraction, is an irrelevant from what's the assessment and what are the taxes.
That is an owner's job in order to, to try to improve their land. You have to tell us, we have no remedy. You can't tell us that right now. If you could tell us you have no remedy, we can work with you, but you haven't even pursued it. You said we don't want to pursue it. You've said two things. You didn't want to ask family and you didn't want to incur the cost of courts. That's what you said. So if
It's
you
not that we don't want to ask family, it is that we have visited the property and to access the land from our family's property is probably impossible, given the terrain.
You didn't say that at time of grievance. You said you had not asked your
We had
family.
not, at the time of grievance, we had not actually hiked up to the site. We have since then, and we can tell you it is likely impossible to access from Jesse Wood Lane.
Yes,
I
we were
didn't
there a lot.
live in your land, so I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna clarify that we've started a grievance and we've had a hearing. I think it's time to move on and have an inspection committee.
Yeah.
So we can finalize this.
Can I ask one more question before we move on? You referenced some comps, so two that were rated 0.7 and one that was rated 0.6. Can you please repeat what the difference is between the 86 acres that were rated 0.6 versus the 40 and 10 acres that were each rated 0.7?
That was 40 acres in 86. The dwelling for the 40-acre piece. The dwelling and structures have been removed from the value due to no access since Hurricane Irene. Oh, I know that's the one it was accessed by a bridge. The bridge was washed out with Hurricane Irene, so it is, the land is not able to be developed. And the parcel, that's on Green River Road. Okay, I'm sorry. The dwelling and structures have been removed from the value due to no access since Hurricane Irene. The roof was taken away, which was over Green River Road. So it's a river between them and their property now.
And that was the 40 acres that was rated 0.7.
Yes.
And what was the 86 acres that was rated 0.6?
Contiguous to family owned pieces and it's undeveloped and do you know anything more about that? Because I didn't do that one.
I do.
And it's valued at 107,400.
It's a back piece.
It's a back piece, just like yours.
Where's that property?
That's on Vermont 310. Vermont 112.
3100 Vermont Route 112.
I would argue that based on your description of these two properties, our property is much more analogous to this 86 acres rated a 0.6 than the 40 acres rated a 0.7. Contiguous family owned, undeveloped, back piece. That just described our parcel.
Okay, that's your. Good point.
I guess it's time to get an inspection committee together.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So if the listers are willing to drop it to a 0.6 or to a 6th grade, or they're willing to accept it? Would that end the grievance process?
I don't, we gotta find the difference in that. 0.9 to the 0.7.
Well, the listers know the property, so,
I would have to have permission from the Board of Civil Authority to run the numbers.
oh, okay,
Did
I
you say
didn't,
the
yeah,
It's just protocol.
understand,
0.9 to a
I'd be
0.7.
happy to do
Okay.
that, but I don't know
Okay.
if it's appropriate since I'm not.
gotcha, I didn't understand that, yep.
Whatever you come up with is good enough.
It's my feeling that we need an inspection committee and need to move forward.
Okay,
The appellants have approached us this situation, and I think we need to see it through, you know. The rest of you need to see it different. If so, speak up.
it was just a question.
I know, but,
It seems to me that if there's a way forward, then we could maybe go that way or look into that. You know, if there's a way forward by changing the grade of the property.
So we're in the midst of a formal process that's called a grievance, right, or a tax assessment appeal. And I just am not comfortable saying not to deviate from the process. The process says we need to go do an inspection, then we make a decision after we do the inspection. I feel that that would be the best course of action to make sure that we're following the process as legally required, so that if there is subsequent
question. Yep.
concerns.
I agree with that.
I agree,
What we need to do.
I agree.
Is there any way we could do it the same morning that we check that other property and a few more of you come along?
So one concern that I have with this property is how are we going to view it? Over whose property are we going to get access to it? We have to travel over someone else's property. And I don't know how that works in this case. I don't know if we need to
The
contact.
property's not posted. You have a right to walk on people's property, don't you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
I would say that accessing the site through our aunt and uncle's property might be your best bet because they are obviously a friendly abutter. And also I think you would get a good idea of just how uphill this parcel is.
I'm also gonna make a comment that it sounds like this parcel might be more physically demanding to get to. And I would
Mhm.
wanna make sure that people who commit to it are gonna be properly equipped and physically able to deal with the rain. And by the way, I'll bring the bug spray.
Bring,
I,
wear long pants too.
yeah. I guess I'm just asking, what are you looking at? I mean, if it's wooded land,
You're gonna look at the land, and this is the chair's opinion.
so you have to walk the whole
You're gonna-
property.
Well, you're gonna have a representative view of the property,
Okay,
because you got 50 acres. To see what the landscape is,
Yeah.
what is the grade? What is the grade compared to?
gotcha.
And you talk a 0.7.
Yep.
Is the property flagged, marked?
Yes, when you access it from our aunt and uncle's land, the trees are marked, and you can see them when you go up there.
I was just gonna say, don't they have to be over?
Yes.
So who wants to be on the review committee?
Oh, I could use a hike. Why not?
If you do it the same day you do that other, I'd go along and just get it done with.
It's not 100 degrees.
Check for signal and they can come.
So the other review site visit was going to be on Friday, June 22nd at 9:30. You would probably do that one first and then maybe an hour, 9:30, 10:30,
11?
11.
It took us
11.
about 3 hours round trip to get up there.
Oh,
Yeah, we only walked to the middle of the property. We didn't even walk the whole north-south length.
Nope.
Well, 3 hours to do what?
To walk in and out.
Walk in and out.
wait,
3 hours to walk to less than half a mile in?
And then along the length of the property, along the Massachusetts Vermont border and back down was about 3 hours round trip.
Well, we don't have to block the boundary lines here.
No, I think we have to get an obsessive of the land. I mean,
Topography and.
He's gonna milk the cows after that.
I could do 11 on the 22nd if the property owners could be there.
Sorry, you had said June 22nd. Did you mean August 22nd?
22nd.
August, yes, Mike, I'm
August.
sorry.
Okay. Would you coordinate directly with our aunt and uncle, or is that something that needs to be coordinated through us?
Let's have them do it.
For them.
Yeah, I think it just seems reasonable to ask you to do that.
And what time on August 22nd were you proposing? 11?
11 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and we'd have to have the address of where to meet.
That would be, we can give you that right now. 18 Jesse Wood Lane. It's a lane, like a dirt road with a single house at the end of it, so it's not hard to miss. And that's in Massachusetts. That is not in Vermont.
Down.
Coleraine.
So I said yes, Malcolm said yes.
So I have to say, I'm on the other site visit, but honestly, I don't know if I can hike that far. It's kind of bad angles, so we're not sure if I can do it.
It's a pretty tough hike too on your legs because it's straight uphill. It's
Hiking, but the last couple of years, it's been tougher.
and just to be clear, we don't need to be there, correct? We just need to notify.
Wanna be there. They need to be
Right.
there, right?
Gonna have somebody to show us where we're going.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would think we need somebody to make sure we were looking at the right place.
What do you have online programs, apps that direct you where to go? Because once you get in there, you don't know where you are. You get very turned around very fast.
Yeah, I can't be lost in the woods. And I choose not to rely on my cell phone just because I know that coverage is spotty.
There won't be service. It's cold rain.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
it's out in
it was-
woods,
And our uncle is not well. I mean, we're talking about people in their 70s, and so he really can't take you up
Shit.
there.
Geez, I'm 70.
So-
So are you able,
I'm
are you able to meet us there?
We both live about 2 hours away. I'm on vacation next week, so I will not be able to be there.
So can we pick a different day?
We have somebody that we know with a drone.
Oh, yeah, drone, cool.
It was a, legitimate question. I
I think they're not understanding that they need to be there. Somebody,
Yeah.
one of you has to be there with us. That's what we're saying. So really, we gotta work it out with your guys' schedule when you can come.
I mean, I am not super interested in hiking up there again, so I can direct you where to go.
If the refusal by the appellant to permit the inspection of the property, interior and exterior of every building
Oh,
results in.
I'm not, hold on. I'm not refusing. You're welcome to inspect the property.
No.
I don't think we can inspect the property and understand the boundaries without someone who is the owner there, is my problem. So can we find a time that would work for you? One of you at least to be there?
Can you give us a list of dates that work for you then?
We have to do it within the next 30 days. And we have to have at least 3 people here who can make that trip. We all have other lives and jobs. These are, this is something we do as a service to the community, so we'll do our best to accommodate the 3 people.
Can we establish who the 3 people are? I have Edie and Malcolm. It looks like it's you.
If we access from a different property, is it closer? I'm not sure exactly. I know roughly where it is, but not exactly. We know if there's a,
Think you can get your bike up to there?
probably,
There is an abutting property off, begins with S.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
To be clear, I do not know how to access the property from any other abutters other than my aunt and uncle, so I am as useless as anyone if you decide to go in from another property.
what I'm saying is if we're doing it a different day and we can find a quicker way in, I'll do it.
There's a
find
property
it.
on Sanders Road,
So
It may-
Anders,
be close enough.
Oh, okay.
This is their property.
I thought Franklin Hill was down in Anaheim. Up in there. So you couldn't go up that
I
way.
wonder if they could get through, but that's part of the.
Right.
I would also like to note, we do not have a relationship with the other abutters, and so, we would have to find out who they are to request access.
Their problem. Yes. Yeah, the Sanders
Okay.
Road, yeah.
Sanders, might be.
Oh, no. You didn't break any.
no, we can look on that.
Is
If
that-
we're doing it a different day, I'll figure out a way to do it.
Well, it looks like there's, a way of an access point that wouldn't be so far. I mean, I'm not looking at the scale of the map, right, but.
But if there's about that property,
I think
would you like me to find out who that owner is?
They were within one.
There's gotta be.
They're in Sanders Road.
Oh, that was like. Oh, was that them? I don't remember their names.
Turn. Went in from right there. Oh, where you got that? That can't be uphill much more than that. It seems like be almost level.
Yeah. That's okay.
If the access is from the state of Vermont, then we can determine who owners are and try to get in that way potentially. And if we don't, if there is a, you can walk wherever you want, it's not posted law, which I haven't directly heard before.
So,
Unless you're asked.
Well, that is technical too. I mean, like, as a courtesy, right, I would always try to do that, so.
So we got 3 on a committee and we're trying to come up with a date.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's the third? Is that you?
I'll do it. No.
Oh,
you
Randy,
said
I'm
you.
so sorry, yes.
Edie, Malcolm and Randy.
I'm not.
Yes,
Ann
Ken.
and David can, no. Are the people that own the property on Sanders. Very nice people.
What day you wanna work on for your review?
Well, it needs to be a day that.
I'm looking at my calendar. I could meet you all out there on Friday, the 22nd, as you originally proposed at 11 a.m. It would just be me, though. It would not be my brother.
That would work. Okay,
All right, so. Um. How are we gonna try to get in? If we're gonna meet with Jillian,
The best way, if you're gonna meet, if I'm gonna meet you, is to meet at my aunt and uncle's property, and then we will hike up into the property. So my suggestions are to bring sturdy shoes, pants, and bug spray
And some water.
and water if it's hot.
all right,
I'm just confused. I thought she said earlier, did you say earlier you're not sure about the property, or do you know how to get them in there and?
No,
what
I
you
do
need?
know. I know how to get in there. I'm just not super interested in doing it again. It is straight uphill.
Okay, well, as long as you know how to do it.
I do know how to do it, but it's gonna be a hike, so get ready.
all right, sounds like we have a plan. Okay,
now we gotta set a date for this, decision.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
here,
okay.
here, no, here, there you go.
All right, so today is the 13th of August, we have to do it within 30 days, is that what it is?
Yep, so you have to report back within 30 days.
Okay, so that would be September
I circled it.
12th.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be before the 12th. When we have it, so we have the meeting, we report back.
Mhm.
We can do deliberations at any point between then and the 14 days after that. We could do it via email, if we could do it via phone calls, we don't have to meet. It's just we have to meet with.
Well, that is the last possible day that we can meet, so that
Yeah.
does, yeah,
3 weeks though.
that, it should be 30 days.
Oh, from today, that's right.
Yeah, 30
Yeah.
days from today, so make sure you leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room in there.
Mm.
Hmm,
So your site visit is August 22nd.
yeah,
So. So give yourself like a week and a half or so to get your write-up and all your thoughts ready. So then we can meet at some point here from like, that would be my opinion
Hmm.
as administration of the BCA.
I would also be willing to do it like the week of the 29th. But our 29th would be like a week afterwards.
Mhm.
I don't recall that compiling notes takes that, I mean, doesn't take that long, right? So we can do it.
The listers have to be here for their final meeting?
You are invited.
Okay,
We are invited.
that cannot be here.
So we don't have a select board meeting on the 26th. We do have a select board meeting on the 2nd. This is Labor Day weekend. I know we could shoot for something like September 4th. We
I'm
could,
going away at some point, but I forgot when it is. My wife knows that.
I'm going away if I can ever.
I'm starting to get nervous now, but something going on, I don't know exactly what it is. I'll probably be in hot water.
Or the 9th, the 10th or the 9th.
The 9th or the 10th?
Probably.
Gotta
I
get
have to.
yourself a cell phone and put it all in there.
Okay, so you think you're gonna be gone then? Okay.
Not,
Okay.
I'm not sure when it is.
There's also,
There's a couple dates I'm gone, so.
I mean, there's that day, which is fine.
Well, as long as we have a quorum. you know, like I can do
I
September
probably
4th.
can be here, just as long as I'm not away, which,
Or the fourth.
Wednesday, I should be here.
All right, 3rd or the 4th, September,
I can do either. Yeah.
Fourth's bad for me.
3rd, okay, so 3rd at 7 PM?
September 3rd. Is that a Wednesday?
Yeah,
We convene on
7 p.m.?
Wednesday, September 3rd at 7 PM to hear the inspection reports of both tax appeals from the inspection committee.
all right, hang on.
Is this something that we need to attend as well?
You probably would want to, and having an online Zoom access is fully acceptable.
Okay, great.
What was that date that you picked?
Wednesday, September 3rd at 7 o'clock.
Yes, we will attend via Zoom if a link could be sent out, if it's a different one than this one.
It'll probably be the same. All right, so, and it does say the hearing of the inspection report must be within 15 days of the date of the inspection, which is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're within 15 days, and then decision must be rendered within those 15 days. Doesn't make sense. All right,
Yeah, something doesn't make sense. to me.
something doesn't make
15
sense in this
days.
word. So inspection must be completed within 15 days, and I believe that we have 15 days after the inspection, after the reconvening to do the final decision.
The inspection.
That is true.
What I remember.
That is true.
From the training. Okay, so motion, so I'd like to make a motion that we reconvene the tax appeal hearing on Wednesday, September 3rd at 7 PM.
Been seconded, so moved. Everybody in agreement?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Just a question on the 3rd. Is that meeting going to cover the other case that was before us? So should we expect to be on later?
yes, we need to cover both of them, and it seems to me like doing them in the same order, we'll just keep our heads square, if that's okay.
Okay, so will you send an agenda ahead of time so we know roughly when to join?
Will be an agenda, correct? Or not for that?
It's reconvening, so we don't have to rewarn it.
If you could, I might still have your email. If you could shoot me out an email to halifaxtownclerk@gmail.com. That way I'll have you in my inbox and I'll remember to send you a reminder. How's that?
Sounds good, thank you.
Welcome. I entertain the idea of not doing the voter checklist. Since it is 9 o'clock.
Yes, geez, it's a late hour. It's early.
Yes.
I move we adjourn.
It's nothing.
This is nothing.
To reconvene, move to reconvene, which Edie already did.
Oh,
Well,
oh,
And take the
okay.
voter checklist.
So at that meeting, we will try to do the voter checklist.
We should be able to, it should be rather short.
Try, well, we have to go through everybody, right?
Right,
And so like, even though you've given us this list, which I hadn't seen till tonight, we still need to go through it. And, you know, I know of other changes. right?
I also have the ability and the authority to send you the checklist via email to each one of you, and you can review it beforehand, and that way maybe it'll go quicker. Even though we still have to read each and every name.
I was gonna say, don't we have to read them all?
We do.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
law?
Yeah, but I personally find it easier to see stuff in advance,
I'll
right?
do it anyway, whether you'd like to have it.
Yeah.
So Malcolm moved to postpone and reconvene for the voter checklist on September 3rd.
Yep.
Second?
Second.
all in favor?
Somebody.
Aye.
Aye.
thank you, Nathaniel and Jillian.
Thank
Great to
you.
see you guys again.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You
Have a good one.
I know.
Good night.
I will stop the
This is from
recording.
Patty Pusey for a t-shirt.
This was like half a meeting.
Those ones out there.
I guess so.
Must